Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday evening, Bhagavad Gita Wisdom. This has been a live broadcast from ISKCON of Silicon Valley, and we are so happy that you joined us this evening, or even after, if you're seeing after recording. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining. And uh, my name is Mukharavinda. I am just facilitating today's session here. So before starting, I'll like to have Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan is like an auspicious invocation where we pay homage to our teachers and the previous acharyas, to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Krishna, for their auspicious presence, because that's what makes everything auspicious by their presence. So let's do the Mangalachan prayer. And thank you so much. With me is Ashray Madhav Prabhu in the in the live studio. He's managing all the controls. So as usual, his steady services. Thank you so much, Ashray Madhav Prabhu, for being there today here. And we'll start with Mangalachan prayer. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम हरे हरे। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। So the last invocation is actually the prayers to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada stands for, actually his full name is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is a founder acharya of ISKCON. Is the one who established the ISKCON society in Western world in 1965, and now by his effort has been spread all over the world. And we are just simply trying to follow in his footsteps and trying to present today's session on Bhagavad Gita. So there are so many gifts Srila Prabhupada gave to the world, but one of the unique gift is the commentary and translation and purport on Bhagavad Gita. And following his instructions in our temple, by the inspiration of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, we have a program called readchat.com, in which devotees all over the world read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So I thought that will be the most auspicious beginning of today's session. We will start with a chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And um, yes, so 1 minute. I believe you are able to see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
So this is readchat.org. And this month till January 16, we are in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. So we will read together Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. So let's go through. So we'll read in both Sanskrit and English side by side. 1 minute, just give me a second. Um, Hare Krishna, I see Rohini Dulal Prabhu. Thank you so much, Rohini Dulal Prabhu, for joining us. We can do five verses if you are in case if you can read. Please join. Asha Madhav Prabhu, if you want to start 5 verses.
Prabhu, if you can start, then I will join. Meanwhile, I'm doing some
Sure,
logistics.
sure.
So if you
Arjun
can start, and the
Vacha.
next 5 verses I will do.
Sure, perfect. अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किम् अध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमा अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किम् उच्यते. Arjun inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the Self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Adhiyagya katham kotra देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं गेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body, O Madhusudan? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate Bhutabhavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangitaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the Self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities. अधिभूतं क्षरो भावा पुरुश्च अधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृताम्बरा. O base of the embodied being, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods like those of the sun and moon, is called Adhideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyagya, the Lord of Sacrifice. अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति स मद्भावं याति नास्ति यत्र संशयः. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attain my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Yes, Prabhu. Any of you would like to read?
Yeah. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati ante kalevaram tam tam me vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Tashmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yidhacha mayi arpita mane buddhi mameva shashirya samshaya. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन्. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, You, Partha, is sure to reach me. Kavim Puranam Manushashitanam Anoranyam Shamanushmaredya Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Karastar. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. प्रयाणकाले मनसा चलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य शम्य शतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम्. One who, at the time of death, fixes his life here between the eyebrows, and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you so much, Ashramada Prabhu.
Mhm.
Rohinidhar Prabhu, if you like to read.
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Jai Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Yadaksharam vedavido vadanti vishanti yadyatayo vitaragaha yadischanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Sarvadvarani samyamya manohrudi niruddhya cha murthanyadhayatma adhyatmanah pranam astito yogadharanam. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Om ityedaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran yah prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Ananyascheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasah tasyaham sulabah partha nityayuktasya yoginah. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O Sanabrata, because of his constant remembrance in devotional service. मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. After attaining me, the great souls, who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Jai.
Thank you so much, Rohinidhar Prabhu. 16. A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदु रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तं तेहोरात्रविदो जनः. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वा प्रभवत्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके. At the beginning of Brahma's days, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. भूतग्रामा स एवायां भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमेव सः पार्था प्रभवत्याह रागमे. Again and again, when Brahma's days arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. परस्तस्मात् भावन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remain as it is. Yes, Ashtamada Prabhu, you want to-
अव्यक्तो अक्षर इति उक्तस्तमाहु परमां गतिम् यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode. Purusah sa para partha bhaktya labhyasva Yashantasthani bhutani yena sarvam nidam tatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Yatra kale tva anavritim avritim chaiva yogina prayata yanti tam kalam vakshayami bharata rashabha. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Agnir Jyotirah Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vidojana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Dhumuratris Krishna Sanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatya Chandra Masam Jyoti Yogi Prapya Nivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet but again comes back.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ashtamada Prabhu. Very bold.
शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया याति अनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. But when one passes in the darkness, he returns. Naite stri पार्थजानान् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore be always fixed in devotion. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chatyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and creative activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Jai.
Very bold. Yeah, thank you so much. Wow, thank you for such a wonderful recitation to both of you. And um, yes, Maharaj says like we paid our tax. If you see anything like in the life, whether you, so many of us, we do the job and we get some fruits out of that, but when we have to pay tax because you got some fruit, similarly this human form itself is a big gift. And actually it's labdhva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavante manushya manushya arthadam anityam apiha dhira turnam patet na yatet anumrityu yavan. So he says that like labdhva sudurlabham, this human birth is the most sudurlabham. Durlabh means the rare, sudurlabh means very rare. Labdhva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavanti, and it's appeared after many many births. It's not that we just got, and that's why Bhagavad Gita is so important book, that it teaches. And Lord Krishna is so openly declared that okay, this life is not all in all, there are many life exist, and this is just a continuum of the bodies that a soul is taking. And first, the most important and basic teaching of Bhagavad Gita is that we are not this body, we are soul. And then on the top of that, Krishna builds the whole uh, understanding that how we are just continuing this sojourn in this material world. And and so this is a gift. And there are various, as I was telling, like even for what we earn we pay tax. Similarly, the tax that we have to pay with is reading the scriptures, doing our bhakti, doing our chanting, and this devotional service. So that's what one of the word that intrigued me in this chapter. So before that, I would like to ask Ashram Madhapu or uh, Rohini Dularpo, if anything that intrigued them in this chapter, we can start with that to have some discussion. This chapter is called Attaining the Supreme, and is very very well placed just in between the Bhagavad Gita, eighth chapter. So, anything, any one of you would like to discuss or share any thoughts?
Yeah, in the ninth verse,
Mm-hmm.
Krishna is saying, Ma Manushmara Yuddhacha. Yuddha is a very intense activity, but Lord Krishna is asking that Arjuna should, remember him and at the same time, keep doing his duty, even while he's in battlefield.
Yeah, that is Yuddha. You are saying, sorry, what did you infer
I
from?
said Yuddha is a very intense activity, right? Unlike you have to be much more involved in Yuddha. It's not like, when you're coding, you can think about something else, take a break here and there. In Yuddha, there is no break, basically, right? As long as you're fighting, you have to be 100% involved.
So
And
the question
Lord
may be
Krishna is saying
asked
you have
that,
to keep remembering.
yeah, so someone may ask question, how will you do that, Prabhu, in the
Yeah, exactly.
day-to-day life? So,
Yeah, yeah.
so you have to answer. How can you do?
Yeah. So the purport actually, Srila Prabhupada's purport is very nice. So
Okay, let's go to the purport then.
yeah, he's making it a little bit easier.
Please read, Prabhu.
Purport, the instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in ritual activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet Krishna Loka without a doubt. So he's saying that, whenever, Prabhupada is saying, whenever you get time, right, from your work, you chant Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
um, which is like a little bit of, what should I say, a little bit of leeway to us.
Yeah, that is so nice. And uh, yeah, what I have heard that yeah, we should whenever, definitely when we are coding, as you told, or whenever you're working, you have to work. But before that time, like we can use 45-hour day when we wake up, or during the day, we can have some focused time where we are practicing our Krishna consciousness. And there are some of the main limbs of some of the main limbs as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. One of them, the topmost, is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is something that we can do, fortify ourselves, like a vaccination that people takes. suppose some disease is there, like, so they take a vaccination and that kind of prevents them to get further infected. Similarly, when we start our day with chanting, reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, associating with devotees or different kinds of different limbs of devotional service, we fortify ourselves, and that the more we kind of focus, the more we um, have the sincere desire to absorb ourselves, the more we can fortify ourselves, and then even when we are doing our duties, actually our consciousness is fixed because we had fortify ourselves with the thoughts of Krishna and chanting. So
Yeah.
definitely, yes. Thank you so much for this verse. Venidra, to any one of yours, if you have. Uh,
I was thinking about this Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram verse. So
mhm.
in the beginning, Krishna is saying that to come to him, you have to remember him at the time of death. And that remembrance has to be practiced in the daily life. And how Krishna has to be remembered in day-to-day life is explained, and he's giving some hints,
Hmm.
his personal attributes. So you should
Hmm.
think of me as Kavim, one who knows past, present, future, and Puranam, old age person. So it's like personal attributes he's giving to remember Krishna, which is little striking, trying to think about that. And also, he concludes the chapter by saying, Vedeshu Yajneshu Tapassu Chaiva. So if one is performing devotional service, he must be, anyway, he's remembering Krishna, and he doesn't have to worry about the time of leaving the body, how he leaves the body. Krishna will take care. So whatever task is given in the beginning is automatically taken care by Krishna himself for a devotee.
Yeah, that is so true. And yeah, that is Spark. Thank you so much for bringing that verse, Kavim Puranam. Like he knows everything and is the oldest controller, is the smallest than the smallest, and something that we can practically um, can think and appreciate in our life. And then the similar in the similar term, the I think in the 21 verse, yeah, no, 21. Yeah, the Supreme Person of Godhead who is greater than all is attainable by unallowed devotion. Although he's present in his abode, he's all pervading and everything is situated with him. So this was this one verse I was thinking that how in this verse Krishna's saying that who's he is greater than all and is attainable by unalloyed devotion. And then again, as you told in the last verse, he says that a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of results derived from the studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruity activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So here Krishna is hinting that okay, accept the devotional service, accept the path of devotional service, and in the ninth chapter, next chapter, he goes more details how you can perform bhakti yoga. And so I was just thinking that maybe some of the verses that I remember in this context, like bhakti, is one of the famous verse that comes in the Srila Goswami's Goswami's Nectar of Devotion, or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where he says, Anya Bhilasita Sunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktir Uttama. So he says that what is the first class service or first class devotional service? He says that when the first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So that's the most important point, like Bhakti Yoga. And then the verse that we were reading, that all these other things, austere sacrifice, giving charity, pursuing philosophical and fruity activities. So some of the things you may say that, oh, that also in the devotional service we do, but what is the difference is that um, is as a devotee we do that as serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So we do all some of that activities but in terms of Krishna desire. And then you may ask, okay, how do I know that what Krishna desires? So let's read the purport. This verse is also found in Srila Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. As we can understand from Bhagavad Gita 9.34 and 18.65, the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants everyone to think of him always. Manmana bhavamad bhakta. Everyone should become his devotee, not the devotee of a demigod. Everyone should engage in his devotional service, including archana, deity worship in the temple. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Everyone should offer obeisances from moment to moment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are the desires of the Supreme Lord, and one who fulfills his desire favorably is actually a pure devotee. Krishna wants everyone to surrender unto him, and devotional service means preaching this gospel all over the world. The Lord says openly in Bhagavad Gita 18.69, Na chatasman manusheshu kashin me priyakrittama. One who preaches the gospel of Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of all is most dear to Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord so that human society can be perfectly organized from all angle of vision, politically, socially, economically, philosophically, and religiously. Wow. See, covered like political, social, economical, philosophical, and religiously. From any point of view, human society can be reformed by the Krishna conscious movement. Therefore, one who spread this philosophy of Krishna consciousness for the benefit of all conditioned soul in the universe is perfect in pure devotional service. The criteria is that a devotee must know what Krishna wants him to do. This understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. So that's what I was in the beginning. I was also getting to okay how to know how we know that what Krishna wants him to do, right? That's what this verse is like Krishna as Krishna desires. So here Prabhupada is unpacking that word more, that this understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. Srila Rup Goswami advises. Okay, so yeah, if someone can anyone want to say like how can you say that the uh, like this is a very powerful statement, and then if you see that many people may not like to follow that, okay, how can you say that this understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna? So can anyone say any praman or anything that okay, this is true, or this is just a mental speculation? How the understanding of a Krishna can be achieved through a medium of a spiritual master?
I don't remember the exact verse, Prabhu, but I think in the
So,
11th canto somewhere, Lord Krishna is saying that I am present in the I am present in this as super soul. No, not the super soul. I am present as the spiritual master. The super soul is present externally as the spiritual master, as well as the deities. The deities form, and so you can. The deities normally they speak. We can't normally conditioned souls. We cannot hear. So you have to rely on spiritual master for a conversation.
Wow,
But
thank
I
you.
don't remember. It's in the 11th canto somewhere there in that
Is
Uddhav
it
Sandesh.
the last chapter of 11th canto?
I don't remember exactly the verse. So I think maybe there is a chapter on dedicated to spiritual master. You have to go to 11th canto.
Oh,
You'll see.
sorry. Yeah, yes, 11, 7. Not this one.
11th canto, and then you can
Or 6 maybe.
search for spiritual master.
Yeah, this one. This one was. Oh, my Lord, transcendental poets and expert in spiritual science could
Yeah,
not
this one.
express their in-depthness to you, even if they were endowed with prolonged lifetime of Brahma, for you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the super soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. So yeah, this verse is, I think Uddhava is expressing is the last chapter of 11th canto where
Yeah.
is expressing his in-depthness. So according to Srila Jiva Goswami, Lord Krishna is 10 million times more dear to a devotee than life himself. And according to Sylveswanath Chakravarti, even by rendering devotional service for the total duration of 1000 universal creation, devotee cannot repay the debt he feels to the Lord for having awarded him loving service to the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord appears within the heart as the supersoul and externally both as the spiritual master and his literary incarnation, the supreme Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So, wow. He's appearing as a spiritual master and his literary incarnation, like the supreme Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Very nice quotation, Ashramada Prabhu. Yes, Rohini Dural Prabhu, you have any praman?
I was just thinking from Gita. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena shrevaya. Upadekshante te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshana. So Krishna is advising to approach a self-realized person and he
Hmm.
can impart the knowledge onto you. And also he gives indirect hint in this evam parampara praptam. It has to be taken in parampara. So if you approach a bona fide spiritual master who is in parampara system, he can award real knowledge and
Yeah,
do.
that is so nice. Yeah, even the very nice quotation that you do, both fourth chapter, 34th verse, like how Tadvidhi Pranipatena, like what is the process to acquire knowledge, and also how this knowledge has been descended in parampara. Evam parampara praptam, evam rajarsayo vidusa kalene hamata yogo nashta parantapa. So it's very nice. Very good citation from Bhagavad Gita itself. Great. Any more citation?
Yeah, so there is Tadvijnanardham Sagurumeva Bigacche. So there is that quotation.
From where it is?
Maybe one of the Upanishads, I'm not sure exactly. Proper quotes of often.
Yeah, Tad Vijnanathams Kurums Eva Gachet. Correct, correct, correct. Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. I think so that verse that corrects what that verse is.
Tadvijnanartham. For that particular Vijnana, for attaining that knowledge, one should approach a bona fide spiritual master who is Nishnat or expert in giving that knowledge, Brahma Nishnat.
Yeah, the
So that also comes as Shabde Parecha Nishnatam. There is another verse that comes in Bhagavad.
that is I think 11th canto third chapter. Correct. That is both are similar. That I think this in Katha Upanishad. Sorry, Mundaka Upanishad. MU. In order to understand the Vedic knowledge, one has to go to the proper master teacher. And Tadvidi Pranipatena. That's good. Thank you. That's a nice quotation.
Other one is Tasmad Gurum Prapacheta Jignasha Srayotam. That was
Correct. Tasmad Gurum Prapaddeta Jigyasu Shriya Uttamam Sabde Pare Cha Nishnatam Brahmani
Upashamasha.
Ashram. No. Which is in the third um,
Somewhere in Bhagavad Prabhu.
uh, Tasmad. Okay, somewhere. Tasmad Gurum Prapaddeta Vigyashu Shriya Uttamam. Yeah, correct. Let's see that words. Tasmad Gurum Prapaddeta. 11,321. Okay, we missed by 3. Okay, so Tasmad Gurum Prapaddeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam Sabde Pare Cha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashama Ashrayam. Therefore, any person like all of you who has joined, who seriously desire real happiness, must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusion of the scripture by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be a bona fide spiritual master. According to Srila Sridhar Goswami, the word Sabde refers to the Vedic literature and Pare refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The bona fide spiritual master must be Nishnatam, deeply experienced in authorized Vedic literature and in practical understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without scriptural knowledge and practical realization of the personality of Godhead, a so called guru will be unable to dissipate the doubts of his disciple and therefore unable to execute the function of bringing the sincere students back home, back to Godhead. The symptoms of realized understanding of the Vedas and Krishna is Upashrama Ashrayam. In other words, the bona fide spiritual master is one who has retired from glittering illusion of materialistic society, friendship, and love. Within the material world, one is certainly attracted to becoming a great intellectual, a powerful politician, the loving father of many beautiful and affectionate little children, a most honored welfare worker, a highly admired and successful businessman. But none of these material positions have a permanent basis, nor do they afford permanent happiness because they are all based on primary misunderstanding by which one identify himself with the material body. Rohit also will continue. I will continue.
Anyone can readily experience that he is not the body but consciousness. Even if one loses a limb of his body, he does not cease to exist as a conscious entity. Ultimately, the entire body is lost at the time of death, and the living entity acquires a new body. The preliminary understanding of one's identity as consciousness is self realization. But beyond this elementary knowledge is the elaborate subject matter of how the soul came to exist within the cycle of 8,400,000 material species of life. And if the living entity is not the material body but consciousness, he must ultimately have an original status on a higher platform. Punishment implies reward also. A powerful man who can punish is also able to reward. Therefore, the existence of punishment for the living being who is forced to take a miserable material body subject to birth, old age, disease, and death also logically implies the existence of a reward for him. Although we mistakenly consider material sense gratification the ultimate goal of life, material happiness is actually another type of punishment. Since it entices one to continue rotating in the cycle of birth and death. In the Western countries, violent prisoners are placed in a solitary confinement, whereas well-behaved prisoners are sometimes allowed to work in the warden's garden or library as a reward. But any position in prison is ultimately a punishment. Similarly, the existence of higher and lower categories of material sense gratification does not explain the living entity's ultimate reward, which must constitute the natural antithesis of the punishment of material existence. The actual reward is an eternal life of bliss and knowledge in the kingdom of God, where there is no punishment. The kingdom of God is Vaikuntha, or unconditional pleasure. There is no punishment in the spiritual world. It is a place of ever-increasing pleasure. A bona fide spiritual master is one who is expert in all of these subject matters, not by his personal imagination or speculation, but by mature understanding of the authorized Vedic literatures, which are literary manifestation of the causeless mercy of God. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.3, Ashraddadana Purusha Dharmasya Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Murtyu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. Therefore, the spiritual master must awaken the disciple to the existence of devotional service. The example may be given that in the early morning, a mother may enter her child's room to wake him up so that he can attend school. The child does not want to get up, but the loving mother forces him to get up and sends him off to school to be educated. Similarly, the bona fide spiritual master awakens the sleeping soul and sends him to the Gurukula or ashrama of the spiritual master. where he can be trained in perfect knowledge. If the disciple has doubts about the value of Krishna consciousness, the bona fide spiritual master must dissipate those doubts by superior knowledge. One who himself doubts the authority of Krishna or Vedic knowledge cannot become a bona fide spiritual master. On the other hand, Kiba Vipra Kiba Nyasi Kiba Shudra Kenanaya Yei Krishna Tattvaveta Sei Guru Haya. Any human being from any social or economic status can become a bona fide spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh. Amara ajnaya guru hana tara yei desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. CC Madhyalila 7:128. Only by the order and authority of the Supreme Lord, one can become a spiritual master, not by one's own so-called erudition. Let me know, bro, when to stop. You're talking on mute.
Yeah, so let's just discuss this part. So now is because that question came like, okay, who is a bona fide spiritual master? Because that's what Krishna says in that through him we can get the more instructions, right? So then we landed to this verse, and then we start understanding who is the Krishna, who is the Guru, what is his qualification, and in the initial few paragraphs is I really like the example because every day is so much kind of fight in the morning to wake up my daughter and to send her to school, and then Prabhupada says that the similar way the spiritual master is waking the soul and sending him the spiritual masters, sorry, ashram, where he can learn and because we are also a sleeping soul, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Jiv Jago verse. And then he says that what is the qualification of a bona fide spiritual master is not that he is like mental speculating, but he is actually he knows the science of Krishna, and science of Krishna is explained in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and whoever knows that science uh, he can become a bona fide spiritual master. One who himself doubt the authority of Krishna Vedic Krishna cannot become a spiritual master. On the other hand, those who are have. So let's just continue more. Such an actor in the next. And I do see some Prabhu, Abhinav Prabhu for joining us. Thank you so much, Abhinav Prabhu. So happy to have you in our Zoom call. And also all other devotees who are in the who various medium joined us this evening. We are actually reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8. Um, and then in that chapter, we were describing how the devotional service is the topmost. And Krishna is saying that, okay, just by performing devotional service, we can get all the results of all the other activities. And then we little bit kind of double clicking that what is devotional service, and we landed up into the definition of Rup Goswami's path, where he says that how it's devotional service, the activity which is perform anushilanam. It's not like it's just a mental construct, but it's a anushilanam. We are doing activities by following which pleases Krishna for what Krishna wants, and then we were thinking, okay, what Krishna wants, how we know, and then Prabhupada says further that okay, we can understand Krishna through the via medium of a spiritual master, and then we were going deeper into that. Okay, what is spiritual master? Who is spiritual master? How can we know that someone is bona fide spiritual master? And what is his qualification? And so we are in that train of thought. So yeah, let's just finish this wonderful verse that Rohini Dalal Prabhu has brought. The duty of a bona fide guru is to connect the disciple to a Krishna. A scholar or meditator has no potency to connect another living being with Krishna. Although many sports fans attend gymnastic competitions and applauded at the exhibition of difficult calis- calisthenic, anyone know how to pronounce this word? Calisthenic feats. Supreme
Calisthenics.
Sorry,
Calisthenics.
calisthenic. Okay, calisthenic feet, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not such a gymnastic spectator, and he does not applaud the calisthenics exhibited by foolish person in the name of yoga. Nor is the Supreme Personality of Godhead impressed by the mediocre attempts of philosophical speculation, since the Lord has already given his own opinion in Bhagavad Gita. Shunu me paramam vacha. The word of Krishna is paramam vacha, the last word in knowledge. And Krishna says, Yad gyatva neha bhuyo nyach gyatavyam avashishyate. When you know this knowledge, there shall remain nothing further to be known. Krishna has also referred to his knowledge as Rajvidya, the king of all knowledge. If one does not become a lover of Krishna, his connection with Krishna takes place indirectly through the illusory potency of the Lord. The idea is that one can attract the Supreme Lord through many gymnastic or foolish speculation on this absolute truth is certainly a product of Maya. One who is connected to Krishna through his external illusory energy can serve only, a, only as a material master to connect his so-called disciple to same illusory energy. On the other hand, Bhagavad Gita 9.13 says, so maybe we can, okay, let's finish this. On the other hand, in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Mahatmanas tu mam partha devim prakriti mashrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Those who are actually great soul have surrendered to the internal potency of the Lord and can similarly connect others to the internal pleasure-giving potency. Right? Is a similar thing happen in the material world. Those who are addicted to the sense pleasure, like maybe chain smoker, or they can also connect others to do the same potency. And similarly, those who are great souls, because they are surrendered to the internal potency of the Lord, can similarly connect others to the internal pleasure-giving potency. A Mahatma is described in Bhagavad Gita as follows: Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudolabha. He knows me. Capital M means his Krishna is referring to himself. He knows me, means Krishna, to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. It is it is to such a spiritual master who has reached the mature understanding that Vasudeva is everything that one must surrender. According to Sri Narad Muni, Yo Vidwan Sa Gurur Hari. Such a great soul is to be considered the external manifestation of Krishna himself. Krishna states also this. Archayam Acharya, sorry. Acharyam mam vijaniya navamanyet karhichit samartya buddhya suyet sarvadeva mayo guru. So here you can see that Krishna himself, yeah, this also one of the verses that I was looking for, which is in the Bhagavatam 11th canto 17th chapter, where Krishna directly said that one should know the Acharya to be myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, if a spiritual master cannot destroy his disciples' doubt by superior knowledge, the disciple will gradually become despondent in spiritual life. Because a bogus guru cannot actually give Krishna to the disciple according to the principle of rasavarjam rasopyasya, the disciple will again become attracted to material happiness, not having achieved the bliss of Krishna's association. Such a weak disciple of a weak spiritual master will gradually become hopeless and discouraged in his attempt at self-realization and will again become fascinated by the temptation of illusion, such as woman, money, and so-called intellectually based on speculation and imagination. Further symptoms of a bona fide spiritual master are given in Updeshamrit 1 as follows. So this is one a very practical verse that Rup Goswami Pad gives. Vacho Vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udarupostha vegam etan vegan yovisaheta dhira sarvam api mam prithvim sasishyat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demand, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Sir Vishwanath Thakur has stated, Upasham Ashrayam Krodha Lobhadi Avashi Bhutam. A bona fide spiritual master cannot be under the control of ordinary anger, greed, and lust. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, One who has understood the futility of material existence can approach a bona fide spiritual master. In the previous verses, the futility of earthly and heavenly sense gratification has been described. Now, the natural conclusion is that one who has understood this should approach a bona fide spiritual master. The bona fide spiritual master broadcasts the sound vibration from the spiritual planet called Vaikuntha. The inhabitants of the spiritual planet, headed by the Supreme Personality of God Himself, are certainly not deaf and dumb. They are in constant communication through unlimited transcendental bliss and knowledge. And the bona fide spiritual master can transmit the sound vibration of bliss and knowledge to his disciple. Just as radio broadcasts mundane news, the bona fide Guru broadcasts the news from Vaikuntha. This is confirmed by Narottam Das Thakur. Golokera prema dhana Harinama Sankirtana. The spiritual master also transmits to the disciple the holy name of Krishna, which is non different from Krishna himself. The bona fide Guru informs his disciple that every living entity is qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, but quantitatively different, and thus engage the disciple in the loving service of the Lord. Because the living entity is qualitatively one with the Lord and is part of Him, there is an eternal loving relationship between them. And because the living entity is quantitatively different, that relationship is eternally one of service. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even though one may have a good fortune to accept a bona fide, highly qualified guru, if one maintains a taste for fruitive activities or mental speculation, one's advancement will be checked. But if a serious student surrenders to a bona fide spiritual master, there is absolutely no impediment to the transmission of perfect knowledge and bliss in the devotional service of the Lord. So, wow, what a wonderful purport and the assurance of Sri Bhakti Sai Thakur that though serious students surrender to a bona fide spirit, there is absolutely no impediment to the transmission of perfect knowledge and bliss in devotional service of the Lord. So, so let's go back to the where we started, and let's finish that. So we were, as I was telling, that we were going through the Rup Goswami's paths. This verse, Anya Bhilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadyanavritam Anukullena Krishnanu Silanam Bhaktiruttama. And when we came to this, the criteria is that a devotee must know what Krishna wants him to do. This understanding can be achieved through the medium of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. So I think this lines what we were trying to kind of get a deeper understanding, and then we went to the some of the verses praman from the Shastra. How does this actually possible? And I think so nicely in the last purport it was saying like a broadcast, like he's broadcasting the message like ordinary uh, radio can broadcast message from here. Similarly, the spiritual master is connected in the spiritual world, and then he's connected, and he can connect through the and he can transmit or broadcast the message here in this material world. Um, Srila Rup Goswami advises, Ada Guru Ashrayam. One who is serious in wanting to render pure devotional service to the Lord must take shelter of a spiritual master who comes in disciplic succession from Krishna. Right? One who is serious in wanting to render pure devotional service to the Lord must take shelter of a spiritual master who comes in disciplic succession from Krishna. Evam parampara praptam imam rajar sayo vidu. So this is the verse I think Rohini Dulal you quoted. Without accepting a bona fide spiritual master, coming to the disciplic section, one cannot find out the real purpose of devotional service. Therefore, one has to accept the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and agree to be directed by him. The first business of a pure devotee is to satisfy his spiritual master, whose only business is to spread Krishna consciousness. And if one can satisfy the spiritual master, Krishna is automatically satisfied. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada. This is the success of a devotional service. This is the meaning of the word anukullena, that is favorable devotional service to the Lord. A pure devotee has no plans other than those of the Lord's service. He is not interested in attaining success in mundane activities. He simply wants success in the progress of devotional service. For a devotee, there cannot be worship of others or demigod worship. A pure devotee does not engage himself in such pseudo devotional service. He is interested only in satisfying Krishna. If one lives only for the satisfaction of Krishna, it does not matter whether he belongs to this order of life or that order of life. One's only business should be to satisfy Krishna. This process is completely manifest in the activities of the Krishna conscious movement. If it has been actually proved that the entire world can accept devotional service without failure, one simply has to follow the instruction of the representative of Krishna. So, wow, what a classical purport and uh, uh, verse. So here we'll stop and pause and take any reflections or anything, question or anything that you like to share or any other questions you have. Before we go further, double click on the bhakti. That's what we are trying to do here today. So the floor is open. If anyone has any point to share, it's like a um, it's not like one mono. It's like everyone can share or ask any question. I like to encourage all of you. Anything you want to share or discuss?
One point that I liked is Prabhupada was quoting this Param Drashvani Vartate verse, Rasavajjam Rasopasya. So
Mm-hmm.
one has this higher taste, he will be satisfied in that rasa and then he will be on an elevated platform. But on the other hand, Prabhupada was saying that those spiritual masters who doesn't have this higher experience, they may have some disciples and then they may be trying to follow his path. But because those disciples cannot achieve this higher taste, both he was talking about weak disciple and weak spiritual master, right? So both of them will not attain any perfection. So I was thinking about how well the Rasa Shastra is understood in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. So there are so many rasas and then so many disciplic succession. I mean, so many branches of the disciplic successions where Rasa Shastra is very nicely elaborated.
Yeah, that is so true. Yes, Rendular too. And also, I was just thinking also like in the similar line, in this year, last year when we were doing Govardhan Parikrama, we met a very uh, great sadhu on the Parikrama mark. So, and he was kind of every day his so yes, you know, Govardhan Parikrama is a 21 kilometer or 15 miles radius, and so that sadhu he is doing every day two times parikrama of Govardhan Parikrama, every day two times, like in morning and evening. So it takes somewhere I think 10 to 11 hours or 12 hours to just finish two times parikrama, and that's what he do from last 15-20 years I think. So he was telling that that's what he's do, and then he took madhukari and whatever he gets, he's happy. So then we were just asking, please bless us, and then he was telling that he told very interesting point that blessings, or that's what we were discussing here, that the spiritual master who has realized that the taste he can impart to others. But then he told that yes, but there is a duty of a disciple also to be as sincere, as much as sincere, to follow the instruction, to follow the teachings to the core of the heart. As Srila Prabhupada used to say, it's not like a some magic feat, like so, like to just someone touched you and then now you become self-realized or you get that higher taste. You have to work for that, to show your sincerity to Krishna that okay, Krishna, I'm sincere. I got a bona fide teacher and I want to follow him. It's not and follow in the footsteps of and what does that mean? It's actually taking a shelter or like so many verses it says like Rajobhishekam, or like taking a shelter of bona fide spiritual master, or like lotus feet of a spiritual master, as we say every day in the Guru one, Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Vando moi sabadhana mate. So it's like I bow down to spiritual master whose lotus we say bow down bhakti, bhakti sadma, who's and I'm carefully bowing down. So what does that mean is actually I'm following the instructions that has been given by the spiritual master. And what are that instructions? It's not very complicated. Is that like many of that we read today, and uh, like the main instructions are very simple, like read Bhagavad Gita, read Vedic literatures in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, because that is Vedic intelligence, as Prabhupada says. Like we all are so much enamored, or so much word is currently, if you see, is all about AI, artificial intelligence. But Prabhupada says is VI, is Vedic intelligence, which is the actual form of intelligence that is through the Krishna's word in that is given in this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And we can uh, and he says like Vedic intelligence is like we can take shelter of this Vedic intelligence and perfect our life, because it's beyond it's beyond any speculation. So yeah, so he was telling that yes, so you had to do also or we all had to do our own part to follow that teachings. And so both the things are important to find a bona fide spiritual master, and also accept the teaching sincerely and practice in our one's own life. That's what the word anusilanam, like in this we were reading the anu where is anusilanam, Krishnanu anusilanam. Silanam is like a dhatu, it's like an active verb. Anushilanam, like we have to do something, we have to follow. Anu means following, and silanam. But a good point. Thank you, Rama.
Thank you.
Yes, anything else, anyone? So we'll go for the next verse that also says like about the bhakti. Sarvopade vinirmuktam tat pravartena nirmalam risikena risikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. So this is another verse where it's like a direct definition of bhakti is given. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designation, first thing, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. So, so that's what is the that's interesting how Prabhupada translated that there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations. This material designation is the one kind of entanglement we have in this material world. By so many mental designation we can have. And but if you want to get free from that, we have to engage our senses in the service of the Lord, who is the master of all senses, and by that we become internally happy. I think that's what one of the previous purport we were reading, how satisfying the Krishna's senses we become happy, because we are part and parcel of him. But we are just a minute part, like in the qualitatively we both are same, but quantitatively we are very minute. And that is the Achintya Veda Veda Tattva that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has describing. So yes, so here is the so another verse, and then maybe we can go back to our eighth chapter, and then take the last verse where which was the foundation where we started, like okay, where Krishna is saying a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Purport. This verse is the summation of the seventh. This verse means whatever we read is the summation of the seventh and eighth chapter, which particularly deals with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of a spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of a spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the students for food that day, the student fast. These are the some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for formation of character. After this training, if the brahmachari is allowed to enter into household life and marry. When he is householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating amongst charity in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance, as described in Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life, upon accepting the order of Vanprasth, he undergoes severe penances, living in forest, dressing with tree bark, not saving, etc. By carrying out the order of brahmacharya, household life, Vanprasth, and finally sannyas, one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky. I, they are liberated in the spiritual sky either in impersonal Brahma Jyotir or in Vaikuntha planets or Krishna Lok. This is the path outlined by Vedic literature. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke. So here is Prabhupada saying that okay, we discussed so many things in the previous paragraph. But the beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different order of the life. So if someone got terrified by, okay, wow, there's so much things has been explained, tree bark and retiring and but Krishna is saying that Prabhupada is saying that by the beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. The word idam viditva indicates that one should understand the instruction given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand this chapter not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapter 7 through 12 are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first six and the last six chapters are like covering of the middle six chapters, which are specially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially this middle six chapter, in the association of devotee, then his life at once become glorified beyond all penances, sacrifice, charity, speculation, etc. For one can achieve all the results of this activity simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita, one who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee. Because in the beginning of the fourth chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotee. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgiving about Krishna or God and Krishna's activity, form, pastime, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one releases the study of Bhagavad Gita and attain the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. So, wow. What amazing purport. Maybe I'll just read again this last paragraph. One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the fourth chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotee. No one can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of devotee, one is placed in the devotional service. By advancement in the association of devotee, one is placed in the devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgiving about Krishna or God and Krishna's activity, form, pastime, name, and other features. After this misgiving has been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one releases the study of Bhagavad Gita. So here you can see there is a Prabhupada is saying there's a different levels of like even releasing the Bhagavad Gita is there. In the beginning, there can be first of all, there can be people don't know only like there is something Bhagavad Gita exists, but someone desires, okay, that at least let me read Bhagavad Gita in association of devotees. There might be some in beginning there might be some misgivings about the Krishna and gods and Krishna's activity, form, pastime, name, and other feature, and that misgivings goes away by the association as we get advanced association of devotees, and then has been and reading. So there's that. So the process is same like what we have to keep doing our part of reading in association of devotees and understanding and take the shelter, and then actually it will help us to go to the next stage. Then one reaches the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness, and then Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati, as Lord Kapil Dev says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, 25th chapter, that Satam Prashangam Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Hit Karne Rasayana Katha Tad Joshanad Apavarga Vartamani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramishati. So there also he's telling that how Shraddha Ratir Bhakti it comes, the prem or advanced stage Rati or prem. It comes at the beginning is Satam Prashangam. Satam means Sat. Sat means the eternal. Those who are the lover of eternal. Satam Prashangat. Prashanga. Sangha means association. Prashanga means like more special association. Satam Prashangam. Mama Virya Samvido. So what they discuss is the virya, the activities of the Krishna, samvido, bhavanti hit karna rasayana katha, and then it comes like rasayan katha. It it enters to the here, enters to the here rasayana katha. Tat joshanad asru apavarga vartami, and then is this apavarg, like there's a pa varg, as if you know Hindi syllable, there's a pa, fa, ba, bha, ma, the pa varg, and the apa varg, like it says, like we are going pa, parishram, fame, bhai, mrityu, and all this can be overcome by the association of the devotees, Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Anukramishati. So, yeah, so this is wow, this last paragraph really kind of such a nice faith builder to how we are to start study ourselves. And I congratulate all of you, those who joined today in this evening, to follow this instruction of what Lord Krishna is saying and Bhagavad Gita is saying, and I'm grateful for all of your association here. So we had just last 9 minutes remaining. I will do some kirtan at the end, I was thinking, but yeah, before that, if anyone has anything like to share, is welcome. You can please feel free to open forum for all the devotees here.
Prabhu, let me just check online if there are any
Sure.
comments.
Thank you so much, Ashram Prabhu, our most steady host for so many months, years.
So, Prabhu, I did not find any questions or comments, so I
Worries.
don't know.
Yep.
Rohini Dula, can share something? I don't know. Wants to share something.
No, Prabhuji, I don't have anything to.
Okay. So yeah, Ashram
I was
Prabhu.
thinking the last paragraph is pretty much similar to this Satam Prasangan, no, not Satam Prasangan, Shushruta Shaddadana Shada series of verses. How one person comes to, initially there is faith, and then he takes, when he performs devotional service, Tada Rajas Tamo Bhava, all the lower qualities are gone, and then he comes to the Nishta stage. Then there is advancement after Nishta also.
Wow. Yeah, that is so true. It in the beginning it's just faith, and that brings and actually Prabhupada says that it's like a Gyat Sukriti. How that faith comes is like some Sukriti that someone has achieved, and sometimes actually devotee gives that Sukriti. Uh, as as Prabhupada remarks in the 18th chapter, when he was saying that Nacha Tasman, like actually Krishna says that don't teach this faith, this teaching to the faithless, but dude, you are actually more merciful to even Krishna that they go and then share this knowledge with whoever wants to, even though they don't have faith or faith, they create the faith in them through through a favorable presentation that they can understand and accept. Like in our ISV, like you might be this we have Kirtan Oasis once in a month festival Kirtan program in Palo Alto, and you can see that how it has developed over the years. And now it's kind of so attractive that even people just passing through, there's so many hundreds of students and people pass through, and then they just get caught in the the vibration, and it's so attractive that so appealing to the people that gives them sukriti to just hear. And the prashadam distribution, and there's a book distribution, there is a any, or like Jagannath comes on the roads to give his darshan, and that so much Krishna is just making himself accessible, so that people and actually his devotees are doing more efforts so that how they can brings Krishna to every look and corner. And and that's why we are so thankful to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who, following the instruction of his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Thakur, came to this Western world and to preach, in especially in the English language to the, so that this teachings can be go far and wide, and can save the humanity for all the time to come. Um, for 10,000 years at least. That's what is predicted, that this moment will save the whole world. And um, I feel so fortunate to be part of this, and in all of your association today in this evening. And again, I thank you all for joining this evening. And we'll just end with a small kirtan, because as we learned today, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the sum and substance of all the practices that we do in devotional service, following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because it says that in this Kali Yuga there are so many methods, but the most important method is like Kriteta Dhyate Vishnu Tetayam Yajato Makhe Dwapare Paricharyayo Kalota Dhari Kirtanat. In this Kali Yuga, Hari Kirtan is the only means, the best means. Hare Nam, Hare Rameva Kevalam Kalau Naste Vanaste Vanasteva Gatiranyatha. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way than to chant the holy name of the Lord. Iti Sodasakam Namnam Kali Kalmasanasanam Nata Parataropayat Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. Is there in Kali Santra Upanishad, like how this 16 syllable mantra, Sodasakam Namna Kali Kalmas, it can remove all the kalmas of the, or all the impurities from one's heart. And again, one has to be one has to be little bit have some patience. Like I was hearing some teacher, and he was telling like our hairs, right? If you see one day and second day, you will not see anything hair grows, or like anything, right? But you will just surprise after say 30 days, oh, hair grows. But if every day you see that, you might not able to see that, oh, my hair grow by some 1 inch or something. Just he was giving simple example. Similarly, we are practicing, and sometime you might just think, hey, Krishna, where are you? I might be still having so many, and I'm just talking about conditions. So like myself, I'm thinking that, hey, Krishna has so many impurities. When will be the day come that when I can chant purely your name, when I can have the qualities that you are describing, that I am friend to all living entities. I'm not having enmity towards anyone. I'm peaceful. I am uh, uh, I'm doing devotional service, or sharing your instructions with others without any motivation. I'm doing selfless service, and when the day will come, but yeah, but Bhagavad Gita and all this, they are saying that yeah, it will come, but we have to have patience in our practice. Like anything in this world doesn't come overnight. Like they say, one famous football player, Messi, he says that I got, so there was one billboard, that billboard was saying that I got overnight success in 17 years. So, so any success doesn't comes overnight. Actually, there's so much effort has been given. So let's just chant 2 minutes, the supreme syllables, and before that we'll chant the Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So this is the invocation to get the blessing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came in 15th century, who is the form of Krishna himself, and that who has given us this chanting of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna, and I'm deeply grateful to all of your association, especially Rohini Dulal Prabhu, Ashray Madhav Prabhu, and all the devotees who joined us on YouTube and Facebook, on any other social media, or those who see recording later. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Krishna Devata Patitam
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Nandakoti Jai
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Bol.
Prabhupada ki Jai Rohini Dulal Prabhu ki
Thank
Jai.
you so much. Srila Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Thank you again, devotees, for joining, taking time from your busy lives and joining this Wednesday online class. We'll meet again for this online class in next Wednesday. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
And Hare Krishna, sorry, I forgot to mention, yeah, we have Saturday and Sunday classes. Saturday morning and it starts from 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And Sunday on evening 3:30. So please join. And this week, especially, we have His Grace Vaishika Prabhu back from India. So he's giving session. So please don't miss to get his personal association on Saturday and Sunday. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.